time out of your evening or whatever you have going on to make it here. So I appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, just write them down or keep them in your thoughts, and at the end we can go over them. And then, like I said, you can also help other people in the community if you want as well. I'm not, staff is not going to spend the time doing that, just because everybody's going to have an opportunity to either come tonight or watch the video afterwards, and it's going to be done starting tomorrow. We're going to start whitelisting starting tomorrow. So anybody new in the Discord or city will have to fill out an application, which I've already created a channel for on Discord. And then, we'll go from there. Just we need to close off the community, not only because of the modders, but everything else that's been happening lately. It kind of keeps things more organized. There probably won't be, with us switching from a public to a whitelisted server, we're probably not going to have a bunch of new people jumping in all the time. Some people don't want to fill out an application. Some people don't want to, whatever it might be. But we're going to wean those people out. We're going to start finding we're going to start finding better role players. Because, even you can have 50 people in the city, but it's all about the quality of the RP that they're bringing. So that's really important to keep in mind. And what we'll do is, anyway, with the whitelist, I've created a role, so you'll fill out the application, and then anybody that's already a part of the city, you guys will get automatically whitelisted. I'm not going to make you fill out an application, but we will go ahead and give you the role. Payne, if you can go ahead and do that, anybody that's in here now, if you can give them the whitelisted role, eventually I'll put in a Discord role script for FiveM, which your role will be tied to allow you in the game and other things like that. So, for example, if you apply for mechanic, you would not only get the mechanic role in Discord, but you'd also get your job set in game on your character. So that's the plan. For that, to make things a little bit easier, Dustin's just making a use of force report, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go through for the civilians, how you guys are going to create your character and everything else. One of the things to keep in mind with the CAD and why we're so strict on, okay, you have to use it, is because not only have we spent a lot of time on it, as I've mentioned, but it's also very, very expensive. It's not a one-time done thing. It's a recurring monthly subscription. So, we got to make sure that we take advantage of it and use it while we have it. Not only the CAD itself, but also the plugins and everything that comes with it. I'm still working on some of the scripts that came with that bundle we got. It's going to take time. All the QB scripts need optimized. So, hopefully in the next couple weeks to the next month, we'll have that done. But at least as far as the CAD goes, we can get that out and get you guys done for now. So first off, I'm going to cover the civilian stuff just to make it super simple for you guys that only plays the Civ. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to search people and write reports because it really doesn't make any sense to do that. But for cops, make sure you guys are writing your reports just like you do in the MDT. We've got to start weaning these people out that don't, or, they don't care to, or they don't want to, or they don't know how, and they don't ask. So, if these people don't start doing it, we're going to have to start either handing out marks or demoting people until we can get a good, solid, organized structure for police. So, anyway, so one of the first things you do, the really cool thing about the Sonoran CAD is that they have a phone application. I know. I don't have an Apple phone. I get it. I know you guys are like, what the fuck? I'm sure. But I don't have an Apple phone. I use Android. So on the Play Store, it's $2.99 for the Sonoran CAD. But I don't know if it's free on the Apple Store.
No, it's not.
Okay. So they cost on both Play Stores then. But anyway, you can have it. It's $3 to get it on your phone, which is really cool. If you split screen, or you even don't split screen, they also have a application that you can download it onto your computer itself. And what's really cool is you can use it out of game. You know, so you can run the CAD on one screen and then run, you know, your game on your other screen. And then eventually we'll also get like the radio, possibly with TeamSpeak, and that'll have like different preset channels for us to use. And what's cool about that is it kind of works like Discord, so you can talk to other officers whether you're in game or not. So it's just kind of nice if you're, you know, in your other screen writing in the CAD, then you can't hear the in-game radio, whereas with this one it'll be out of game. So I really don't have a time frame at all for that. It's just going to depend on the finances and, you know, making sure that we can afford Sonoran CAD and everything else first. So anyway, so one of the first things that you'll do, for civilians, I would refrain from using the CAD in game. It doesn't really make any sense for you to have a tablet in your hands in game, and everybody's going to know what it is. Not saying that you absolutely can't, but I would just refrain from it. It's also a lot buggier. So I would just go ahead and go to Sonoran CAD, download the Windows application. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And then you can do everything you need to do from there. And then the permission key I've already given you guys, which is just EBLB civ. But first off, obviously you'll create your email and password, and then it'll say put in your community ID, which I created a channel for all that information, which is under Sonoran CAD. The community ID is right at the very top up there. And then the civilian permission key is EBLB civ. So that'll give you all the civ perms so that you can register your character and vehicles as well. As far as registering your characters, please make sure that you fill it out to the best of your ability. If you have a house or property, even your initial spawn apartment, you know, maybe just put in the postal or the street for that. Make sure you upload a picture. If you don't, then when you get arrested, they'll take a mugshot and upload it there. The officers will. But just try to fill it out as best as you can. It's not really super long, and then you really only have to do it once, and it's kind of done. And like I said, I don't know, some of you may have multiple civilian characters, but I only have one civilian character, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier. Like your fire and cop, things like that, you don't have to register as a civilian, because you shouldn't be, you know, doing crimes and breaking the law anyway. So I would just mainly do that for your civilian. So once you do it once, like I said, if you want to take a picture, then you'll put it in, you can put it in like Discord, copy the link, and you can put it in here. And then, you know, your first name, last name, you don't have to put a middle initial since we don't have one anyway. The date of birth, try to keep it the same as your character when you created it. If you don't remember, it should show you at the multi-character screen. And then your age, sex is important. You can put your alias, so, you know, if your name's Michi, people might call you Meech or whatever it might be. And then put your residence. The zip code will be the postal code in game. You can put your occupation. Just like I said, try to fill all this out, the most of it that you can. And then if you need to edit it later on, you can. Let's try to keep it realistic and not edit it every time you commit a crime or something just to get away. But yeah, that's pretty much all that is. So once you, let me get this back up. Once you sign in with our community ID, you put in our permission key, then if you're only a civilian, you're only going to see this tab here, which is civilian. So you'll click on it, and then you can go to new character, and you can put all the information in there. Make sure you save it. If instead of using like /911P, 911P will be gone, because everything with that, the old MDT includes the dispatch stuff as well, which is a command that was integrated in with that. So you can call 911 through this way, and what's cool about it is you can like put your location. We'll just do this for the time being, and we'll put tests, and then whoever's on duty as a cop will be able to see the call. So if you go in police, I should be able to see under dispatch emergency calls right here is the 911 call. So I'll click here, open it up just to see like kind of the notes on it. It's going to be a lot easier if they put an area code. I just put in test so that way nobody responded to it, but yeah, that's pretty much it for like how the cops see things. Like I said, I don't want to go over all the cop stuff right now. We will do that at the end here. So kind of navigating Sonoran CAD a little bit. If you need to like go back to the main menu, you can't like backspace and go to the previous page. You have to like click down here and then go to system and then the community menu, which will bring you back to the front. If you're a civilian, you're always gonna have access. If you're a cop and a civilian and a firefighter, you're always gonna have access to all those tabs. It's just gonna be an honor system. You know, be realistic about it. Don't be logged into the police things while you're on as your civ, you know, messing with your reports or whatever it might be. And for the cop stuff, it's very vocal too. It'll say incoming 911. It'll say 1SO1, press their panic button. It's really cool. There's more integrations with it as well. I'm sure you can find more videos about it online regarding voice commands, so you can actually use voice commands yourself and things like that. But like I said, as far as if you're a civilian and a cop, make sure you're not in the cop stuff while you're on as a civ. Just keep it, you know, keep it realistic. Pretend maybe you just don't have access or whatever it is. I can always see, and other cops can see as well, so let's say I'm on as my civ right now, Testy. You can see who's in the police side of things. So we're going to know who is logged into the police stuff while they're on as a civ. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, just don't get in there. It's not going to be tied to a job. It's just going to be more of an honor system, especially as we whitelist. We should be able to trust everybody with things like that. So, all right. Let me go ahead and load in the game real quick, and then I made it much easier for you guys, so that way you don't have to type out every license plate. You don't have to type out the make and model and things like that. I put in a plugin for the CAD, which you can just type in a command, which is /reg, short for register. And while you're in that vehicle, it'll just automatically register that vehicle to your name. So that's much easier. Even if you do have 60 cars, it's much easier than having to go through manually and type in every single plate and make and model and things like that. Now, before we jump into getting your cars registered, does anybody need help getting set up or getting their API ID or anything like that?
Mine pretty much just won't let me connect to anything when I try to use the CAD.
Okay. Did you already created like your username and password?
Yeah, I'm trying to launch it through Steam now. Let's see if that makes a difference, but
Did you download the application itself on your computer?
for Sonoran CAD,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Did it let you into, like, did you put in the community ID and it showed our server name and all that stuff yet?
When I try to put in the community ID, it says community not found.
Are you putting EBLB Civ in community ID?
Yeah,
Okay, that's the permission key. So that's to
Okay.
give you access to the civilian stuff.
so the API ID is gonna go into that field.
No, your API ID will be in your actual identifier. So I'll show you. Let's first get you into the CAD. All right, and chat it up in the general chat channel. I'm gonna put the community ID. It's going to be like that V12LQ33. And then once you put that community ID in, it'll bring you into our community, and then you'll see where it says put in, let me see real quick. So for example, like here, you know, you'll do join community, you'll type in the community search, you'll join it, and then right here is where you'll put that EBLB civ to give you access to the civilian stuff. Yeah.
Make sure you type it in, don't copy and paste it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if that works for you. It should, and then if you have any issues, we can go from there. But two, like I was saying, if you guys want, just to make it easier, you can go to, I think honestly it's just sonorancad.com, and you can download it. You'll see the little blue thing here at the top. Let me switch my screen to live, make it a little bit easier. So yeah, you'll just type in sonorancad.com, and then right here it'll say download our Windows desktop and mobile app. And then you do learn more, and then it should take you to download it right here, Windows desktop. Which, as a civilian, you really shouldn't need it, except for that one time you register your character, and then you can do your vehicles in game with the command. But you know, it's always
the permission key is just
that's going to be that EBLB civ.
Okay, we're in.
Awesome. There's going to be different permission keys for each type of role. So, you know, if you're a firefighter, you'll have your own permission key. Cops will have their own. Cops that are supervisors will have their own. But it's not like it's not like a either have it or take it. So, for example, if you're a supervisor in the police department, and you put in EBLB civ because you're also a civilian, if you also put in the permission key for cops, it's not going to take away the civilian permission and then only give you cop. It's only going to add to it, if that makes sense. So each type of role is going to have its own key. So if you're a civ and a cop and a firefighter, you're going to put in 3 permission keys, and then that'll give you access to everything that you need. But obviously, if you're only a civ and you're not a firefighter, you're not a cop, then, and if you ever do get your hands on the key, just don't put it in. Like I said, it's going to be an honor system. We're going to have a log of everything, so if something's edited by somebody that shouldn't be in there, then we're going to know, and it's going to be as simple as revoking your whitelist and removing you from the community. As we go into whitelist, we've got to be a lot more professional, and we got to bring in some better RP and just everything overall. I mean, I would love to add in, you know, a V menu and the option to like respawn yourself or revive yourself if, you know, let's say you're the only 2 cops on and you got shot up at a robbery. You could use that for those type of things. But if it's going to be used for, you know, avoiding roleplay or like reviving yourself after you flew out of the car so you don't get arrested, if it's going to be used for things like that, then that is the main concern. So until we can kind of get everybody on the same page and have a more trusted community with every single person, then that's one of the reasons we got to keep things kind of strict. But you know, as far as like V menu goes, it'd be nice to have a V menu so you could spawn semis and trailers so you could use them for a specific RP scene. But at the same time, you know, we don't want people like spawning them in the middle of the road after they crash their car. You know, it'd be nice to be able to spawn boats to get out on the water so you could go save somebody that drowned. But, you know, again, at the same time, if it's going to be used to just run away from the cops once you get to the edge of the water, then that's, you know, that's an issue. So, you know, these things, it's like our admin menu. You know, we don't spawn cars mostly because it's fun or like revive people because, you know, we can or anything like that. We usually do those things to try to create RP. So, you know, like I'll try to spawn a big semi and trailer and invite the civs to come help escort me, and you know, we'll do a shootout and, you know, let the cops come try to catch us. Just things like that to try to create different types of RP that not every player would without those type of permissions, if that makes sense. So just something to keep in mind, especially as we whitelist. It'd be nice to kind of have some things like this. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out a card just to kind of show you guys. So if you're a civilian, one of the first things that you're gonna do, obviously, which I already did, was I registered my character. I already put a picture in there and make it easier for the cops. And then when you're in your vehicle, what you're gonna do is just type. I added this plugin, make it easier, so we'll just type in /register, and then we'll get a one second. Should get a command there in the chat. It may have to be one of the vehicles I own. Because usually it'll say like, you successfully registered this vehicle or whatever. Let's see if it'll let me do it with one of my cars. I haven't even had time to register my cars myself, but hopefully with this command it'll make it easier for you guys, if it's working anyway. And then that way, before you even leave the impound lot or leave PDM, you can just register your car. Alright. Let me see if it's... Maybe it's just not sending me the command. Oh, alright. I know what the issue is. One thing that's super important.
Are we pretty much making like new names and everything for the character, or is that all staying the same?
No, you should try to keep it the same name. So you're going to be registering yourself. It's not going to like sync when you create a character. So you know, it doesn't really make any sense to have a different name than your character, because your ID is going to show your character name.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so just make sure you make the same, keep the same name. We're not doing like a total wipe where everybody's going to have to create new characters and get all their vehicles and jobs and all that back. It's just a new MDT system, basically. And
cool.
The old MDT, it was made for our framework, and it also, everything just synced to it. So once you came in as a character, even if you're in for 5 minutes, you're automatically in the MDT. This doesn't work like that. This is a standalone system. That's why cops can access the civ stuff while they're on as a cop, and why civs can access the police stuff while they're only on as a civ, because it's not tied to your job. Which it's just how the CAD works. But something super important, and why it wasn't working, is because I probably didn't have Steam open. So make sure every single time before you load in you have Steam open, especially for cops, because that will show your live location there in the CAD. I did go ahead and get a different multi-character screen last night too, so I'll probably put that in tomorrow. Your same characters and all that stuff will be on there. The only difference, it will add a option for a backstory, which is really something we should do anyway, especially being whitelisted, and being RP servers, to kind of have a backstory for your character, so you can always kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're playing in the city. You know, what kind of RP are you trying to bring? What type of you know, role are you playing in the city? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Just things like that to kind of build an actual story for your character itself, instead of just kind of, you know, standing around chilling, talking all the time. Which we'll get into some of that stuff here in a few minutes, once I show you guys how to register this. Hopefully it works. Give everything a few minutes to load here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you're going to do /register, and it's going to automatically register the vehicle to your civilian name. Cops, you're not going to need to register your vehicles because you're not spawning them from your actual garage. Even if you do have vehicles that you own, don't don't worry about it. Just do /register. Now keep in mind you're gonna have to do this with every single vehicle. I know it's gonna take some time. Believe me. Payne, would you have like 65 and you registered all of them? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he registered all of his cars. So just take a few minutes, getting every single one of your vehicles real quick, /register. Like I said, you don't have to go through and actually put everything in. So with that command, it makes things a lot easier. And that's really about it. It's for civilians, just make sure you register your civilian character and you register all your vehicles as well. And then, you know, as far as cops go, if you guys notice anybody that hasn't registered their stuff, just impound it. If it becomes a constant issue where they're not doing it, I've already made the Sonoran CAD to where you can't get in the server unless you've joined our community ID and you've got yourself registered in the CAD. So the hard part of that stuff is done. Just make sure you need to do what you need to do. It's not super difficult. Yes, it may take some time, but once you're done, you're done. And so like cops, you'll be able to access this DMV. Don't worry about this DMV status because either we have to get somebody that wants to like roleplay as DMV and like approve or deny license plates. Either that or we'll have to like I don't even know. We'll just really only worry about this for now, where it says status. Don't worry about if it's DMV approved or not, unless maybe it says rejected and we had time to go through and reject a vehicle or something. But I'm really not too concerned with rejecting a vehicle unless maybe it's stolen. So this is the vehicle that I just registered. You'll see, because it's an imported vehicle, it's probably not going to show the make or the year, but it will show the license plate in the vehicle. And then now when a cop drives by me, it'll show vehicle approved or whatever, and it'll show my character's name of who the car's registered to. So now I don't know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was doing the /register. I connected my Steam and everything, and it's still not working. I don't understand what's going wrong with that.
Did you put that API ID in there and refresh it?
Where do I put that?
You're gonna put that in your API IDs. So if you go to settings, it'll be right here. It'll be your Steam ID, and it should show you that at the very top of your screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Once you put that in there and you refresh it, then you should be able to like click up at the top, refresh or whatever, and that should be good. So that's how everybody will be identified, is by their Steam license. So that's why it's important to have Steam open before you load in. Anybody new, like I said, they won't even be able to get in, but once they do get in, it'll show right at the tippy top your API ID. If you don't know what it is, you can also type in /API ID, and it'll put it right up there in the chat for you. But it's just your Steam license. So yeah, that is that. I don't know. You guys that have the EBLB Civ permission key, do you guys have access to this DMV thing here? Fuller, can you see this DMV tag right here?
Like in the CAD?
Yeah. Or does it just show civilian?
Mine just says civilian when I join in.
Okay, because we should have these also not just have the vehicle registrations, but like the licenses for driver and things like that too. Because not only the new IDs that we got, which are pretty cool by the way, But Sonoran CAD also has an ID system as well. And then if you want to create your ID this way, and then you can do show ID, and then the ID of the player you're trying to show. So,
Yeah, I noticed that earlier.
yeah, what's cool is it actually shows the picture and everything, but this is a different ID from the Sonoran CAD. The Sonoran CAD one is like, I think that one's just like show ID or something, but we'll probably keep the same ID stuff we have now. We probably won't worry about doing, because I really don't know how to give, unless I give the civilians, I give you guys access to the DMV stuff so you can register your driver's license and everything. Like I said, it'll be a bit of a pain getting everything set up in the beginning, but once it's kind of done, it's done. So let's see. Like if I'm a cop and I go to look somebody up, you can pull this thing up here, or you can do lookup, and you'll just type in the person's name. Now, if you search their name, nothing comes up, somehow they got through the system, then charge them with failure to identify, give them maybe 5 to 10 months so that they can take that few extra minutes to just go ahead and register their character. And then if you have a continuous problem with somebody, just let staff know and we'll take it from there. But everybody will have to be pretty much registered before they get in. So once you search their name, the flags are kind of like if you're writing a report. Let's say that the last time you saw them, they had a gun on them and whatever it might be, then you can flag them as like armed, mentally ill, things like that. And then when you search their name, you'll actually hear the Sonoran CAD say armed, mentally ill, armed, dangerous. It'll actually verbally tell you that. So if you search the person's name, then you'll click this little yeah, you'll just click on the box there, and then it'll bring up the person here. Like I said, you can't go back in Sonoran CAD, so like this, you just close it out. And then records would be all my vehicles, all my vehicle registrations. This is probably eventually where we'll put like driver's license and stuff, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's just focus on using the in-game IDs, and then we'll get in-game. We'll get new badges as well for cops to use in-game. So that's pretty much it regarding the civ stuff. Does anybody have any questions regarding the civilian stuff, or do you need any help getting set up? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
You just add your picture, like just take a picture with your phone or something to add a picture to your license.
Yeah, so what I usually do is I use a screenshot software. I'm not sure how it works with like the in-game phone. I haven't tried that, but like I'll take a screenshot with I use the snipping tool, but you could use like Steam or whatever it might be, and then you could like post it in Discord, and then just do. I'll show you. I'll go back to screenshots here, and then. Like, let's say I want to upload this, and then I would right click and copy link, and then that's where.
Oh, then you can just paste it
Yep.
in your ID.
Yep.
Awesome, man. I think I already have some screenshots.
Yep, for sure. And it looks a little bit nicer. I don't even know if the phone. You may be able to copy the link from the phone, but. Yeah, it's nice. This phone's I mean, it does have its bugs, and we're not going to keep this one forever, but it is kind of nice having something new for the time being. So,
I've liked it so far.
yeah, that's, anybody else have any questions regarding the civilian stuff for Sonoran? Cool.
No, thanks, Juicy. Appreciate it. It was very helpful.
Yeah, no worries. And, you know, if you guys do need anything that we didn't cover, or if you have any issues, just let me know. Like I said, the actual desktop application is a lot more optimized and better than the in-game tablet. Just make sure, one of the most important things, which I always forget, is to make sure you have Steam open before you load in. That'll be very useful. And, you know, like I said, cops are going to know if you guys don't register your characters and you don't register your vehicles. They're going to automatically get an alert as long as they're using their radar, and it's going to say not registered. So it's going to be kind of hard to get it past everybody with that. So, but once we get it all set up and, you know, everybody's kind of on the same page with it and everybody learns it, then we'll be good to go from there. You know, like I said, don't worry about your driver's and weapons license and things like that for now. I may eventually give you guys access to the DMV stuff, so that way you can at least add in your driver's license and, you know, weapons license. But for now, we'll just go ahead and keep using the in-game cards just to keep it much simpler. But yeah. The last thing I want to touch up on with you guys, as far as civilian stuff goes, before I have you guys jump off and just keep the cops here so I can show them how to search people, is the quality of the RP. It's, you know, I have some people that would love to stream. I know I would love to stream, but I understand that, you know, playing the game is kind of your way of, it's a way for me as well. It's, you know, it's a way to escape from the real world or just kind of relax and have fun for a bit or whatever it might be. I get that. I know it's nice also to be able to, you know, come in and hang out with friends and just kind of chill and talk. But we also got to keep in mind it's a role play server, so, you know, I'd love to stream more, but I can't really stream when I jump on as a cop and let's say there's, you know, 10 people on. 10 people is plenty enough to create some type of RP. And it doesn't always have to turn into a shootout or a pursuit, or you don't even have to get arrested. You can do different types of RP that don't always require you to get arrested. You know, you could call 911, say that you found a gun or you see somebody suspicious by this area or whatever it is. That was one thing that was nice about vMenu servers, is there is no economy, there's no job, so you can't kind of like go off and just do your own thing and be away from everybody else. It really forces you to roleplay with vMenu because there's nothing else to do. The only thing you can do is interact with each other, and that's the whole point of FiveM and RP servers anyway, is to interact with each other. So, you know, it'd be nice to just see each other more. Like I said, I understand it's you want to be able to hang out with your friends and stuff, but, you know, getting on and sitting there for 4 hours with absolutely no interaction isn't bringing any type of quality or quantity RP at all. You know, I would almost rather see more shootouts and things like that than not see anybody at all. You know, that, like I said, that is kind of the whole point of RP, so it's just something I want you to keep in mind. There's plenty of ideas. I have a whole list of ideas in the rules channel for the scenario roleplay list. The other night, I was kind of going through other cities and seeing what they have and everything, and they started a scene where somebody was role-playing as a 17-year-old minor, and somebody called 911 on him, saying he was in the parking lot, you know, passed out in his car, and then I went out there as a cop and kind of made contact, and then, like, it snowballed into, you know, calling his dad out, and then, you know, the kid said /me, sees bruises on hands and sees bruises on bodies, and then we had somebody that was a cop play as a CPS character for a few minutes, and it just, like, it really snowballed into a wonderful RP scene. Nobody got arrested, and it was just, like, really great interaction. So just something I want you to keep in mind. If you need ideas, like I said, you can look on the Discord. You can always ask us. You can watch videos, people like Pro Gamer Dude, JMW Films. IC Deluxe is awesome to watch, but he's more of a troller. He doesn't really bring any kind of quality RP in. But just saying, just in general, just things like that. You could do a mentally ill RP scene. You could do a suicide jumper scene. You could do a, you know, found a gun by a dumpster and call 911. Just whatever. Just more you know, use the 911, use /me, use /do, use those type of things more, and so that way we can have more interactions and stuff. Because like I said, I can't really, nobody's gonna watch my streams. No, I mean, not a lot of people do anyway, but nobody's gonna watch my streams and videos if I get on and I start a stream and I'm on as a cop and I'm sitting there for 4 hours and there's absolutely no interaction. You know, it's like what's the point, really? So like I said, while I understand that, you know, it is nice, and I'm not saying you can't hang out with your friends or you have to constantly be doing RP over and over again, but, you know, maybe do one or two RP scenes a night. It's okay to get arrested. You know, if you don't use your gun, you may only get a couple months, but when we have 10 people on, there's so much RP that we could do, especially when we're in Sandy or even in the city. You know, maybe just call 911 on yourself every once in a while just to try to create that RP. So, yeah, and that's just something I want you guys to keep in mind. I would really like to see more interaction and more roleplay. If, you know, we continuously have issues, it's gonna be, we may have to like end up, you know, taking out everything else like vMenu servers do, like take out the economy and take out all the jobs, so that way the only thing left really is interactions with each other. So like I said, if you don't have any ideas on what kind of RP you can do, just let me know. You know, the other thing I wanted to cover is like talking out of character and fail RP. Keep in mind when you're in game and you're on your character, maybe just think of a backstory in your head. Like, you know, you're a disabled veteran who just flew home from the military, and, you know, you got PTSD and loud sounds scare you, and you were married for 20 years and your wife died, and you got a kid that lives in California. You know, just like create some type of story for your character so that you can keep in mind and you can kind of bring that RP in about who you are. So, you know, when you're in game, you're playing as that character. I don't want, and we don't need anybody talking about how their day at work went, or, you know, what they did last night or what they ate for dinner. If you want to do that kind of stuff, keep that in a Discord. Keep it out of the game. The whole point of being in game is that you're role playing and you're a specific character that you've created. You know, so kind of take yourself out of that body for a minute and just role play who you are. And frankly, I'm not gonna, instead of like warning and kicking people for talking out of character all the time, what I'm gonna start doing probably is fining people. So, you know, every time you talk out of character, I may fine you like $500,000 or whatever it might be, until we can get the whole idea of being in game and being in your character. You know, if you see me at MRPD, you know, if you want to say, hey, Officer Sanders, or whatever it is on my character name, that's fine. But when I get people like, hey, Juicy, is this, I got a question for you. You know, it's things like that. It's like, I'm not Juicy when I'm playing this character, if that makes sense. You know, if you call admin or you create a ticket, then we'll happily help you that way, and we're going out of character in those moments. But when I'm in as my character, you know, I want to roleplay too. I don't want to constantly be taken out of character, asking questions at our character. And if I'm streaming, nobody wants to watch that either. So, you know, whether I'm streaming or not, though, let's try to keep it in character. If you need help, you can always call admin. We can answer your questions out of character. But, you know, talking about your day or what you're good at or what you're not good at, or, you know, the car you drive in real life, things like that, you keep that stuff in Discord. When you're playing a game, you're playing in your character, and we're going to really start cracking down on talking OOC, because being in a whitelisted server is very much a privilege, and it's supposed to be serious RP, right? So, you know, if it's just becoming free roam where people aren't playing their character, then that becomes an issue. And you know, it's always quality over quantity. So just something to keep in mind with that. Talking out of character. And the other thing I wanted to address is fail RP. You know, if you hit a telephone pole at 150 miles an hour and fly out of your car, don't just get back up and run back to your car and keep driving. You know, if nobody's on and there's nobody around, you're not in an RP scene, that's okay. You know, I get it. Like, you're not gonna role play with nobody else around you, because the whole point of role play is to interact with each other. But if you're in a police chase, or there's, you know, other people on that could assist you, like, just, if you wreck, like, role play out your injuries. You know, if you hit something and you fly out of your car, you know, at 20 feet high, you know, role play your injuries. Don't just, like, use 911 as a way to come revive you and then just get back up and get in your car and keep going. You know, the whole point of the first aid kits was to, like, help people so they didn't lose their shit all the time when they respawn at the hospital. But, you know, just because you get healed with first aid kit doesn't mean you shouldn't still continue to role play out your scenes. You know, if you got shot in the head or whatever it might be, nobody's gonna just do CPR on you and you get back up and you're good. You know, so maybe still take that person to the hospital, or, you know, get to the hospital yourself, you know, pretend you were in surgery or whatever it might be, so that you can continue to role play it out, because everything is role play when it comes down to it. So yeah, with talking to OSC, FailRP, just anything in general, we're really going to start cracking down on things. FailRP is a little bit different, like talking out of character. If it becomes a major issue, we're like issuing you multiple fines and you're still doing it, then we'll have to take it to like warnings and things like that. But yeah. Other than that, does anybody have any questions regarding like the kind of talking out of character and there not really being a lot of role play? Okay, cool. Well, either way, like I said, I'm not mad or upset or anything else, so I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate being here tonight. And we are going to take note of everybody that was in here. Payne, are you still in here?
Yeah, and I whitelisted everybody on the.
Oh, you're awesome, man. Thank you. Can you also take a screenshot of everybody that was in here? That way I can do a giveaway roll.
Yeah, I already did.
Here later. Okay, cool. All right. So nobody has any questions regarding, like, I know some, I've seen other messages as well, like, you know, zero role play or whatever it might be. So I know it's frustrating for other people too. We want to have more interaction with each other, so let's try to bring that stuff in. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be going to jail for 30 months or whatever. So does anybody else have any questions though regarding like FailRP and talking out of character and things like that? No. Any questions regarding the CAD? Any questions regarding anything?
I mean, I got a question about the CAD, but I'll just watch the video to figure that out.
Okay. Well, cool. If you guys don't have anything else, then if you guys aren't a cop, then you're free to go. You can go and jump out. I appreciate you guys being a part of the city, and then we'll get everybody in the name of wheels. Once I'm done with speaking to the cops here, we'll get you guys in the name of wheels and do a few giveaways. So if you guys are just a civ, you guys are free to go. And like I said, I appreciate being here.
Appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you as well.
Come on, dude.
All right. Let's go ahead and cover searching people for cops.
Don't steal my stuff.
Let's see, we're 50 minutes in. I don't want to make the video too long because then people won't watch it. I'm sure there'll be people that don't watch anyway.
Oh, they're gonna watch it.
Yeah, just keep in mind after today, we're not going to spend... If there's something we didn't cover, then I understand. I'm happy to help. But we're not going to spend a bunch of time showing everybody how to use stuff. It's going to be kind of one of those things, if you don't know what you're doing, you didn't take the time to watch it, or you couldn't show up, then there's not really much we can do for you. So we've really got to kind of start cracking down on this stuff, not just because the amount of time that we spent on it, but the amount of money that's going into this as well. So, if you're a police officer, instead of going into the civ stuff, you're going to go into police here. You may also have dispatch as well. We'll cover dispatch later once we get every cop accustomed to how the police stuff works. But it's super simple. Make sure that you're logged into Steam, because that's going to show your current location. If you're on as your civilian character, don't even go into the police stuff. Like I said earlier, we will know who is on and who is an active unit at the time. So if you're on as your civ, don't be in here, because we will see it and we have logs. But there's no reason you should be in here messing with that stuff while you're on as your civilian anyway. Don't go back either when you're on as your cop and edit your records or delete them or whatever it is, because we will see it. So just something to keep in mind. All right. So this will be probably one of the front pages. It'll be like the dispatch system here. What you're probably going to want to do is keep it on self-dispatch for the time being. Once we get a dispatch and people that are interested in it, they can sit and do all that stuff for us. But for now, keep it on self-dispatch. That way you can put in everything yourself. If it's set as dispatch, it's only going to show like when you arrived on scene and en route, and show your call sign and things like that. So keep it on self-dispatch for now. Now let's say you want to look somebody up, which I did a little bit earlier, but you know, my civilian character, so we're going to go to Testy, we're going to look them up, age, picture, things like that, make sure everything matches, exit out, and then we'll go to, this should show all of his vehicles. If you don't want to go through every single vehicle, you can do it by license plate. So you could type in, you know, what their license plate number is, and then it'll show their name. If you identifying and searching like firefighters or EMS or police by their agency, and record ID, that's probably like a incident number basically. So yeah, if I had a report, it would show under reports, but I don't know if Payne still has.
Warning, armed, violent.
See, you guys probably can't hear that because I'm sharing it live, but anyway, you see the flags, they say armed, violent. When you search a person's name, maybe, you know, when you had the interaction, when you go to write a report, you can put in armed and violent. That way the next person that searches their name knows who they are. Also, this is super important regarding warrants and bonds moving forward. Anybody can be bonded out on a misdemeanor or lower. You cannot be bonded out on a felony, and you can also not be bonded out on any violent crimes such as assault and things like that. The bond amount should already be in when you write the report, which we'll go through here in a minute. But if the person gets bonded out, they have to go to court. If they don't show up for court, they're going to get a warrant for their arrest, and that warrant will stay active until they get arrested. So if somebody gets bonded out, make sure you put that in court case request, so that way we can get it on the schedule for their hearing for their charges. But anybody that gets charged with a felony and above in violent crimes, we're going to go ahead and just, you know, charge them the way we do now. The commands will still be the same, but it'll be /jail or /bill, and you'll do your thing there. Regarding the new phone, if you notice now, if you bill somebody for a fine, you will not get the money yourself, which you never should have to begin with. The money goes to the society account for the boss menu. So like it goes into the police fund basically. So you will not get any of that money anymore, and you really shouldn't need it anyway because your pay is really well. I know, like on my cop character, I think I have like $9 million or something. So it's ridiculous, and you can't even do anything with the money anyway except get gas and food. So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, you'll look somebody up this way, you type in their name, then you'll see all their vehicles and whatever it might be. And then if you need to write a new report, then it's going to be under new record. Warrants from here on out, starting today, are going to be infinite. They're not going to reset every restart anymore. They're going to be infinite. But make sure, if you end up arresting somebody that had a warrant, make sure you go back in there and get rid of the original one or update it so that way they don't get arrested multiple times for it. But anyway, there's multiple different options here. There's arrest, there's your BOLOs, your warrants. A general citation would be like a pedestrian, and then a vehicle citation would be like, you know, speeding, running through red lights, things like that. We're creating new reports right now, which Dustin is helping me work on, and Payne is too, regarding use of force. So once those are out, every time you beanbag somebody, you tase them, you tackle them, you hit them, you shoot them, you have to write a use of force report regarding all the details of, you know, why they were shot, everything like that. So every single time you shoot somebody or use a taser or beanbag, you need to make sure you write a use of force report, and we are going to be checking up on that stuff. Not only staff, but supervisors as well, chiefs, sheriffs, sergeants. Every sergeant above will have supervisor access, so every report will have to be signed off by a supervisor. Every arrest, every warrant, every BOLO, everything will have to be signed off by a supervisor before it can be submitted. So, you know, if you end up shooting somebody and you don't put a use of force report, then we're going to have to start handing out marks and demotions for things like that. Now, so super easy. If you need to arrest somebody, you're just going to do arrest. And then this is where I was talking about, you know, if you arrested them and they had a gun on them, then you can just mark armed. That way you know. We're going to be creating a better system to where you can't get a gun from ammunition unless you have a firearm license. So there's a cool little script that I've seen where you go to the police station and you'll get like a tablet, you'll answer like 10 questions, and then the cops will register you or give you a weapons license. So, and then you'll go to the courthouse, get your weapons license, and then you're good to go from there. They won't have to register every single weapon. But anyway, you can flag them. That way, if they're armed, whether it's legal or not, that way you know if they're armed. This is just going to be your information. It's going to automatically be pre-filled. Let's say I'm going to just use my civilian character to make it easy. So to search them, civilian information, you're going to type search, put their name, click on their name. It's going to pre-fill all that. Let's say they were in a vehicle when you arrested them. You can search it by plate number, or you can search it by name. That's where having two screens is really nice. What you can do is, so let's say I'm in that demon. So you can do name search a name. We'll click on this vehicle. It's going to pre-fill all that stuff. And then this is where you're going to add the charges. You're going to click add. That'll be for another one. So let's say pretty much everything is in here, but if you see something that you would like to see added into the charges, just make us a list and let us know, or you can put it in suggestions as well. But we pretty much covered mostly everything in here. There's everything from controlled substance, weapon, criminal possession, weapon class A and B, all that stuff. So let's say I get charged with assault. It's going to automatically put the charge type, which is a misdemeanor, and then this would be the bond amount. We'll probably end up, we'll probably keep the prices now for fees and bonds, just because they're a lot more realistic than our economy is. But we'll end up working the economy out a little bit more. The jail time, which you can decide, unless they're bonded out, then they can go to court. You can give them that option. If they do bond out, they have to pay that money, or they have to have somebody come down and pay that money, and then immediately you have to put in court case request for this person, for this charge, whatever it is. So that way they can be seen in front of a judge, and we can have more court RP. Eventually, once we get, state all filled up, I'll step down. We'll let somebody else run state, and I'll just role play as a judge all the time. But until then, yeah, we'll put, for the bond type, you can say whether they gave you cash or whatever it might be. We'll probably end up creating U.S. Marshals and bail bondsmen's. That way, if somebody doesn't show up to court, not only would they'd have a warrant, but we'd have divisions specifically targeting those people that didn't show up to court. So. But we got to get other things situated first. So just for now, like I said, misdemeanors, anything that's a misdemeanor, they can be bonded out. If it's not a misdemeanor, anything above, then they can't be bonded out, and you'll go ahead and sentence them right now. This is where you can put the weapons that they had on them. Arrest type would be like if you've seen it, or order for arrest would be like a warrant. You get criminal summons. I want to create more stuff like we'll have probationary officers, and we'll have people that are on parole after they got out of prison, and they'll have to report for drug tests and things like that. So we have really cool ideas with these things, but of course we got to take it one step at a time. So don't want to dream too big and get everybody's hopes up, but I'm just letting you know kind of what the plan is for down the road. Don't really have a time frame on any of that stuff because there's a lot we're working on right now. But yeah, that's how you'd add a charge. And then let's say there's another one here. If they have any sort of felony in here, then they can't be bonded out, and you'll just go ahead and fine them. The fine total will show right here, and the jail time is going to be based on your however long you want to jail them, so it's kind of a variation. We'll probably mess with the jail time a little bit, maybe make some things a little bit less, but even if it says like up to 70 months, you can only still sentence them for 30 max. If you have an issue with somebody constantly killing cops or getting out of jail and murdering people and whatever it might be, then you can put in court case requests after you charge them, and we can do a court case for sentencing them to life, at which point they wouldn't be able to play on that character for like maybe, 48 hours or something. But yeah, this is where you'll put the notes of the arrests. Keep in mind this is down there when you're actually processing them. Try to be descriptive with everything that happened. Try to answer who, what, when, where, why. But at the same time, don't go into too much detail, so try to have a good balance there. Status will be once you're done with it, you'll go ahead and just keep it as closed. You're going to put the date. Observing officer signature is going to be your name, so you can put 1S01, or you could just put your name. And then, like I said, once it's added in there, a supervisor will have to sign off on it here, which you guys that are supervisors is going to be one of your main roles, is going through records and signing your name, your first initial, and then last name. And if you have any issues with people not writing reports correctly or not doing their reports, then we'll take it up from there. But that'll be one of your guys' responsibility as a supervisor, is going through every single report that's written will have to be gone through. Luckily, there's a lot of us, and I know like Chef and Dustin, they're sergeants in state, so we don't have to keep it department specific. I know these guys are happy to help go through other departments' reports as well. So just something to keep in mind. I'll show you how the menu works a little bit. Actually, as far as records go, it's going to be the same thing for BOLOs, warrants, general citation, vehicle citation. All that stuff is going to be in here. And then in reports is where use of force is going to be. If you run canine and your canine bites somebody, there'd be a canine report in there. So just things like that. And then there's also the supervisor panel is going to be where anybody that's supervisor can go through reports and approve them or deny them or whatever, sign off on them as they come through. We're still kind of learning everything ourselves. So if you see a new feature in there that, we don't know about or we didn't cover, feel free to share it with us. I'm pretty sure with the supervisor panel here, once we do like IDs and stuff, you know, we can have a whole DMV approve and reject plates and licenses and things like that. But so this is how our report would come up, or an arrest report, and then you could, as a supervisor, you can go ahead and go to the bottom, sign off on it, and save it, or you can just remove it. So this one I was just testing with, so we'll remove it from here. We will have the old MDT still in tonight, but while the server's up, I'm going to be taking it out. The dispatch, like the shots fired and store robbery and things like that, will keep in for now until I can get everything tied into the new CAD system. It's like shots fired show, but not store robberies yet. So, all right, that's pretty much how you create a report and look people up. The menu here, until we get a dispatch system going, when you click self-dispatch here, it'll give you the dispatch menu. So if you notice, if I click dispatch again, it won't, you can't even type in here, and it doesn't even show this as an option. So click self-dispatch, pull up the menu, dispatch. This will show the active calls going on, and where you can respond to them. You can attach yourself to the call. So like, you know, let's say I want to attach myself to this call.
Postal 275, Panorama Drive.
And then this will all save. This is more for like dispatch anyway, once we get that stuff going, but you know, then that's when you can do like on scene and route. You can click your panic button. You can set yourself as busy, available, or unavailable. But just keep in mind that just because you click unavailable in here, this CAD is totally separate from our framework, as I mentioned earlier. So if you set yourself as unavailable in here, you still need to go off duty if you're going to be gone. That way you can't affect what could be robbed. So yeah, this will be more dispatch stuff, like I said, so that they can attach people and things like that. But you're more than welcome to use these buttons and set yourself as well for the time being to show kind of what you're doing. So then you can clear yourself from the call, detach it, things like that. All that stuff will just kind of save. Those aren't really reports, they're just more so yeah, just kind of information for dispatch so they know what's going on and what reports. Now under dispatch, this is where you're going to find the emergency calls. So like I showed you guys earlier, the 911 call. There's also the shot spider, which will not show the postal code anymore, like I mentioned. It's just going to show the street. So it's important that you kind of get used to where the streets are at and stuff. It's going to show you call origin, which is the caller, because it's the shot spotter system. You can edit the street signs from the Sonoran CAD. So, you know, if there's an accident going on or you want to tell people to watch their speed, you can do that all from in here. You can initiate like different types of signals, but like I said, this is kind of all dispatch stuff too. So once we get everybody used to the police side of things, then we'll start recruiting for dispatch and get some people that are interested in that. But you won't be able to do cop and dispatch on the same character, of course. Now this is the unit management. I'm pretty sure that's under dispatch as well. No, it's not. So it just shows you different things that you can see. I've integrated the live map with it. So you can click here and go to active units. You can see their first name, their first initial, last name. If you're in any other Sonoran CAD communities, I don't know why, but sometimes they overlap. So like this guy is from a different community, so I don't even know why it's showing. But anyway, you can see their status here. You can see what department they're in, and you can also see their live location. If you click on that little magnifying glass, it'll actually pull up a live map. It's a little bit slow sometimes, but it'll show like a live map and show where all the officers are at and things like that. So, oh, this thing's gonna be a pain in the ass, ain't it?
These aren't saving.
Oops. And yeah, anyway. This live map hasn't been wanting to work for some reason lately, so it's not a super big deal. You don't have to use it, it's just kind of a nice function, but I will look into that. As I mentioned earlier, as far as the DMV stuff goes, unless we get somebody that's just like interested in going through plates and things like that, for the time being, I'm pretty sure police and police supervisors can approve or reject like license plates and things like that. But in the meantime, let's say you look somebody up, which I'll show you, give you an example with Payne's civilian character. He registered all 63 of his cars. So it's not too bad. Just use /register or /reg in game when you get in each of your cars, and it'll automatically register it here. Don't register cars that you steal or whatever it might be. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, you want to be able to register it in real life, so don't try to register it in the city.
Maybe I'll go to jail.
Yeah. So yeah, you search the name, and then don't worry about if it says approved or not over here for now. Just worry about the status part here. That's all you really have to worry about when you search somebody's name. So yeah, regarding other units, you can see, what's cool is you can toggle other people's panic buttons, and you'll also get a really cool sound as well.
Panic unit 1B06.
It'll say panic unit 1B06 502 Westbound DR. So it'll like give you a voice command of whose panic button is alerted and where they're at. Make sure, so if you go in here to active units, if you see this little red thing here, you have to deactivate your panic button. So you have to hit it again for that red stuff to stop. So if you ever notice this like red thing going over it, it means that your panic button is still activated. So like if I click mine,
Unit 1201.
it'll stay blinking red until you re-inactivate it. Now, if somebody kidnaps you as a cop and they do like /me takes panic button, then don't fucking go in the CAD and push your panic button, go along with the roleplay scene. This is where you'd see active bolos. You wouldn't make the bolos from there, you would make that from records. This is where you'd make the bolo, put the person's name. It's same as the arrest report. Don't worry about putting any charges. You're not gonna have any charges in a bolo. Unless you want to put like pending charges, and that's fine. But put the vehicle information, all that stuff. Once that bolo's done and that person's been found, make sure you go back and close it. And let's just keep up to date with some of these things. We're definitely gonna start being more anal and watching how things are done and going from there. I know me, Payne, and Cash are all gonna spend a lot more time supervising than being in the city. So you guys can probably see the 10 codes most likely, so that's kind of nice. These are in here. If you want to see any more added or you need any of them edited, just let us know. I know Dustin spent a lot of time on the charges, so some of the times probably need brought down a little bit, but I think those were most of these were already set in here. We just added a few.
If you guys do want to see new ones in there, just let us know.
Yep. For sure, we can add them. And yeah, but there's a shit ton of charges already. So regarding warrants, unless you like physically see somebody running into their house, we're gonna create another record just like the use of force and canine stuff, where it'll be like a warrant request citation or whatever you call it. So that way, if we have a judge or myself, they can get warrants issued. If there's no like judge on, then you can just role play it out that you called a judge and they approve the warrant. Yeah, that's about it. Main thing is making sure you write a report every single time. Let's say real quick that you don't arrest somebody. It's not in there now, but there will be like a witness slash
Incoming 911. Incoming 911.
you know, like a just like a regular general report of you being on scene and you talk to somebody and things like that. I'll give you an example. We're kind of going off of this community here, and this is how they use their records. They have intelligence, incident and witness report, accident reports, canine use of force, and then of course we'll have like a affidavit for a search warrant, and then we'll get more records as well. So we're gonna have tow requests and all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. Does anybody have any questions regarding the police stuff? No? Alright. No questions, Ocean? Ocean? Now's your time. Alright. Well, cool. You guys should all have the permission key, and Discord. All that information is listed. Keep in mind we're whitelisting, starting tomorrow. So if we haven't seen somebody in a while, they're gonna have to reapply to whitelist to get in. We're gonna have leave of absent request channel. So if you're gonna be gone for a couple weeks or month or whatever it might be, and you can't maintain that 10 hours a month, just let us know. You don't have to let us know what's going on. Just let us know so that we don't kick you out of the Discord and the city. We're going to be going through these next couple weeks and getting rid of inactive people from the Discord. It's not, I don't really find it awesome at all that we have almost 300 people in the Discord, when we only have, you know, maybe 30 or 40 or maybe 50 at the most in the city. So there's really no point in having a bunch of people in there that don't play with us when the whole point of the Discord is for the city. In addition, we're looking into, I don't want to promise anything, possibly making each Leo department its own Discord. So like state would have its own Discord, BCSO would have its own Discord, and LSPD. So just kind of keep things a bit more organized and keep this Discord from being cluttered. So it's just kind of something in the thoughts right now and an idea. That's pretty much it. Nobody has any questions regarding the CAD? Like searching people?
I got a question.
Okay, what's up?
Ocean, you go first, because you said something.
Sorry about that. I was just found my push to talk button. So when you were telling us to do the reports, right, and everything else, so when I would go into like new reports to look it up, because we were doing it, I installed the Sonoran CAD thing and line yards. So it says the no reports are added. So like if it doesn't pop up with like a list for me to add a report, is that going to be under new records then, and then that will be the way we do it?
Yeah, they're right here, and they're under new record. Reports will be what I just showed you, which will be like the use of force, witness reports, like canine,
Gotcha.
things like that. So it's just a little bit of a difference between reports and records. Reports will be kind of like our
Records-
reports are now. Records will be incidents.
Yeah, so when the new record, you're gonna use arrest, and then it's gonna have like a narrative that you would type it all in, and
All right. Alrighty.
Yep. It's pretty easy. You just search the person here. Click their name. If they were driving a vehicle, you don't have to use the plate. You can type in their name as well and find the vehicle that they were using to add in. Why it keeps doing that?
you give citations.
Yeah, if I was driving the DCD, things like that. Whereas if it was a citation, then I would do vehicle citation. Same exact process. Name. It automatically fills all this stuff out for you. Name search. Yeah, but it's up to the civilian to make sure they register all their stuff. The vehicle. You can put the make if you want, so if like you know it's a DCD, you could put make. And then like here you could put the speed information. Their vehicle speed, the actual speed limit, how you clock them, if you paste them or if you use radar, whatever it might be. Don't worry about a court date or court time. We'll just have people pay the fines unless they absolutely argue with you, and then they can request a court case, and we can go about it that way, and they can pay their fine that way. But as of now, as I'm running state, I'm not gonna have time to sit and play as a judge 24/7 for the time being. But eventually I will, and I'll be able to, just issue warrants and everything as everything comes in. We haven't had a whole lot of interest in people being judged either, but we will. Then narrative is where you'll put the details if you need any. Status, you'll put close when you're done with it, the date, and then your name here, and then the supervisor will sign off on it. If you are a supervisor, then your supervisor will need to sign off on it.
I do have another question. Okay, as a supervisor, where do I look up for to sign off on? I mean, if they use
Supervisor panel, right here.
Because
Yep.
mine actually has like a circle with a deal. So just
What do you mean?
so when I bring my mouse over the top of the supervisor panel button, it has the mouse turns into a white circle with a red cross out over it. So
Did you put in the supervisor permission key from the FTO channel?
no, probably not. Oh boy.
Yeah. So you'll have to put that permission key in, and that'll give you the supervisor access. It's in the FTO channel.
So I go. I'll get with you, I guess, afterwards to do that. I'm not 100% how.
It's the same way you put in the permission key for Civ and Cop. You're gonna put it right here. It's in the FTO announcement channel.
Okay, got you.
Yep, you'll just put it here, and you'll click enter, and then once you go back into police, it'll give you the supervisor panel and stuff.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. That's what we're here for. Any other questions? Beller, you had some questions.
Yeah, so how is the CAD gonna work for like the fire department?
We'll have to cover that a different day. I really don't have that
That's what I
stuff
was
set up
thinking
yet.
about.
Yeah, I really don't have it set up. I don't even have the permission key out for it, but it'll be kind of the same process. Dispatch will also do fire, EMS, and police, so they'll be very busy, but it'll be pretty similar. If you need to look somebody up, you're just obviously not going to be writing arrest reports. Instead, you'll be writing like incident, records of what happened.
That's what I was gonna say. Are we gonna be writing about that stuff? But
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the kind of aid you provided and things like that. And regarding police, fire, and EMS, like I said earlier with the first aid kits, we need to make sure we're doing more than just, you know, dragging the first aid kit to use and giving them CPR and then they get up and start running again. You know, if you get tased, you're probably not going to get back up and keep running. So if you have any issues with that, it's, you know, fail RP and we'll have to take care of it from there. But yeah, you know, you can use /me, you can use /do, and just kind of role play those type of things out. And then for fire, I'm going to make it to where you guys can use the, we'll probably end up combining, yeah, we'll combine the EMS and fire department basically.
Yeah.
So you guys will be able to use the med kit and use like the tweezers to extract bullet casings and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yep, it'll just take some time, of course. I still have a lot of plugins to add in with this. Now, there is something else I want to show you guys regarding the police side of things. It's going to be really important, especially as we get a dispatch, that you put out that you're on a traffic stop. And I'm going to show you an easy way to do that.
So you prefer to have, you know, double screen with the new CAD system, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better, and that way if you download the application, you can have it up on your other screen. And then once we get the Sonoran radio and TeamSpeak, it's another subscription cost, so we got to make sure we have the funds. But then you can, what's nice about the radio is it kind of works like Discord, so that way if you're typing in the CAD, you can also be on the radio as well.
Okay, well, looks like I gotta get, you know, another screen.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can use the CAD in game. It's actually a tablet. Hold on.
There's a tab for it too.
Yeah, it's the command / show CAD. So there's an in-game tablet for it. It's just not as efficient as the desktop application.
You can keybind it too.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's when it'll actually like show you holding a tablet in game. But you don't have to like put your CAD on the other screen either. If you do have the desktop application, you can just put it, you know, keep it down as one of your open applications and just.
Yeah, well, like,
you don't have to have it full screen either.
Whenever I, you know, take a flight out of my head to go to the CAD, I can't hear if anything's going on or anything in game.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Once we get the Sonoran radio, you'll be able to, because we'll be in TeamSpeak.
Yeah, because I don't want them, you know, all of a sudden to start shooting and I'm dead and come back and I don't know what happened.
Well, you're typically writing reports afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, dispatch is going to cover all the on scene, you know, busy, things like that. Once we have people, probably in the next couple weeks to the month, once we get all the cops set up with you guys comfortable writing reports and all that stuff, then we'll start opening up dispatch, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest. And I'm also going to be like recruiting on social media sites. There's a lot of people interested in doing dispatch. So, you know, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here panicking about. Like, I understand CAD to a point. Like, I don't know. I just get confused very fast. Kind of, you know, put me in that area.
Yeah, just, you know, play around with it a little bit. You know, just get on and maybe say you're 10-7 or whatever for a while, and you can always just kind of play around with it. What's cool is you could practice with your civilian character, adding charges and things like that. But anyway, I'm going to show you so like Dustin said, you can keybind it to whatever you want, or you can do the command, which is /show CAD, and this will bring your CAD in game, and you can hear while you're in this CAD.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I like that more.
Yeah, then you can write your reports and all that stuff, and do everything else from up here.
And how do I, like, close it from, like, it showing up? Do I just hit, like, that?
Escape.
Okay. Alright.
Just hit escape and put it away. Like I said, I'm not too worried about you guys keeping up with, like, oh, I'm en route, or I'm on scene, or whatever it is. Really, the only thing is if you're going to be AFK for a bit, just put unavailable, so that way people don't know. once we have dispatch, you guys will click the self-dispatch, and then you won't have any of, like, that stuff available. You won't see, like, the emergency calls or anything. Dispatch will do all that stuff.
Okay.
So they'll put, you know, every officer that's on scene, and that way we just have a record of all of it, so.
Okay, that sounds better. Like, I was just confused on how you could use it while you're still in game and all that. But I got it.
Yep, yeah, it's pretty cool. It gives you a little animation too. But like I said, regarding like shots fired, those won't show you anymore. It won't show you like the red circle of where the shots are fired. It'll show the street,
Okay.
which will make it much more realistic anyway.
Okay.
But there's traffic cameras and everything else. The one thing I did want to show you guys regarding like traffic stops, once we have dispatch, you're gonna type in, you can type in /TS, which is short for traffic stop. So you can do /traffic stop, 4-door sedan, occupied ×4.
New dispatch,
And then-
10238, traffic stop, Alhambra DR.
You probably can't hear
294.
that, but it says like,
Dispatch.
No, I
it
can't
opens
hear
up the dispatch, see, and it puts traffic stop,
294.
4-door sedan, occupied ×4, and then dispatch can see, okay, he's on a traffic stop at this area, and the plate number as well. That'll show.
That's cool, but you know, dispatch can be even cooler. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people interested in dispatch for sure. But we'll just dispatch ourselves for the time being, and then like, you know, when you're done with the traffic stop, if you didn't write them a citation or whatever it might be, you can just do self-clear and detach yourself from that call, and all that stuff will save.
And we're still using the radio for this stuff too, right?
Our in-game radio, yeah, for now, until we get Sonoran CAD and TeamSpeak, but it's another $40 or $50 a month.
Yeah.
Sonoran CAD alone and all the add-ons and plugins is gonna run us close to $100 a month.
I know that ain't cheap. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that's why we're really cracking down and on everybody using it. Starting tomorrow, the old MDT is gonna be gone. Every single thing needs to be written. Everything needs to be recorded. Obviously, you can't write use of force reports until we get that stuff in, but you know, it's gonna be very, very important that we get this stuff, get everybody on the same page with it. So.
And so, do I have to, with the CAD, I have to register all of my characters, right?
Just your civilian character, yeah. You don't have to register your fire and police characters.
Okay, I was
Like
just making sure that.
you won't register them the same way. So like when you're in as a cop, I can't remember what it looks like when you first load in, but like it'll just show your player name and stuff, and then you should be able to edit it from there. And you can just do edit unit and make sure you put your unit number, how it's set, put your first initial, dot, and then last name.
Okay.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to enforce the new failure to identify rule until tomorrow, correct?
Let's start getting everybody used to it tonight. You can maybe go ahead and give them warnings or let them know tonight. Try to keep it in character as much as possible. Maybe just tell them to register with the state or whatever it is. But yeah, let's try to start getting people in the mood for it. And then tomorrow, we're going to definitely start, you know, pounding down on some of that stuff. We'll start with arresting them and then impounding their vehicles. And if that don't do anything, then we'll, you know, we'll bring it higher up. We're going to try and get the police job set up to where it used to be, which is if you impound a vehicle, they can't just like go out and pull it from the depot. You know, they would have to come get it from the impound lot.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it's just
So,
all the core scripts need updated, and it's gonna take a good month or so, just because of how they configure stuff is all set and having over 320 resources.
Yeah.
So our first course of action is going to be this. I mean, I would hope it would be more of a like a fine or something, or
Yeah, I don't. It's officer discretion, right? Just like with everything else. So if you guys want to warn them, if you want to fine them for tonight, and then beginning tomorrow, we're just gonna go ahead and straight up charge them. Everybody, you know, I've made multiple announcements. Everybody's aware. You can't even get in the city right now without being registered in the CAD. The biggest thing is just making sure you have Steam open before you load in. That way, everything works correctly, because that's how it'll show, like, you know, your like live location.
alright.
Okay.
Your API ID, like I covered earlier, if you need it, you can do /API ID, and it's just your Steam identification. It'll show right there in the chat, and then where you put that is in your settings, right here. So if you see like red at the top that says your API isn't registered or whatever, put it in and refresh, then you can get it that way, and then put it in here. Or it may be saying that as well because you don't have Steam open.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you have any questions, I'm not saying we're not going to answer them or we're not going to help, but you know, this is being recorded tonight. It'll be uploaded on YouTube. It'll be put in the Sonoran CAD channel, so you can always refer back to it. I didn't cover absolutely everything, so you know, I'm not saying no to any help or assistance, but I'm not going to help people with the basic stuff that don't take the time to watch the video or learn how to do it.
Alright.
Oh, good. Any other questions regarding the police stuff?
Good.
Okay, remember registering your vehicles. You just get in them, do /reg, and make sure you do that with every single one. I know it's time consuming, but it's easier than having to go in there and manually create each report. And Payne registered 63 vehicles, so I know you guys can register your cars. It's not too bad.
So we do not have to register our unmarked or our marked vehicle.
No. Police, you're not going to have to register your character as a civilian, and you're not going to have to register your cop either. I mean, you shouldn't ever be searched or looked at, you know what I mean? And if another cop passes you and it says not registered, they're going to know like you're in a cop car. You don't need to be registered. One of the main reasons I can't have us register our cop cars is because not everybody has their own in the garage. And when you spawn them, like out of the garage thing down in MRPD or over here, when you spawn them that way, they don't show owned by you. They're basically being spawned in as like a local vehicle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then getting new BCSO cars in the next week. We're also getting new uniforms. This is one of the new state uniforms. I had to put my hair like this because my hair will stick through if I don't. I've started making custom liveries and custom EUPs, which will be an option on the site if you want your name on a vest or shirt or whatever it might be, or even your call sign on a specific car. So.
Is the custom like thing like put your name and everything on it? Will that go for, you know, like a firefighter too, like fire character?
For sure.
Oh
Yep.
shit, I have a good.
I'm gonna get more fire EUP too. It's just that recently there really hasn't been a whole lot of fire activity, so
yeah.
I kind of update things as there's activity. I mean, there for a while the SCBA system was popping. You know, everybody wanted the SCBA system. They wanted the fire tools. They wanted this and that, and I got everything. And now nobody does it.
Hey, I fly in there and then, you know, alright, no one flies in with me, like, alright.
I know, I'm just saying in general, you know, I can't keep spending the city's money on things that aren't being used. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
So that's one of the main things. So but yeah, we eventually will get some fire EP and probably some more vehicles. I got all the London studio scripts, so you know that's like the smart fires, the more realistic ones, and hoses and things like that too. But
Yeah, those ones.
yeah, we just gotta kind of see some more activity with some of this stuff. Hopefully we'll get, like, I haven't seen a mechanic on forever. So I don't, you know, I could put in more, like, realistic, those winches and all that stuff, but, you know, create a, they could be basically the DOT and be towing vehicles for the police department, but that all comes back to roleplay, you know, just kind of like I was saying earlier, flying in and just kind of standing around talking about your day that you had at work. Let's keep that in the Discord and keep it out of the city. Just try to remain in your character and, you know, build your backstory in your head. The new multi-character screen I got will have a backstory, and every single person that applies to be whitelisted in the city will also have to have a backstory for their character. So we may end up like creating a sheet where everybody's gonna have to, at least for their civilian, create a backstory. But yeah, there just needs to be more interaction and roleplay overall.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding the CAD or anything else?
I think you got it there, Chief.
Alright, cool. Like I said, it's not that we're not going to answer any questions, but try to make sure you've been resourceful yourself and you've tried to either find out the answer, or you've rewatched the video surrounding how to use the CAD before asking a question that those things can answer. Alrighty. Well, again, I appreciate you guys showing up tonight. We gotta work on getting some more reports, and I gotta work on some other things as well. So shortly after this, we'll put everybody's name in the name of Wheels, and we'll do a few giveaways for everybody that was here, and we'll announce it as well. So I do appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy nights to make it tonight. I probably talked a little bit longer than I should, but it is what it is. Again, I appreciate you guys. Many more updates to come. Just a little bit at a time, and you know, if you ever have questions about new things or things at work, I pretty much put every single thing that I add or remove in server updates, so make sure you keep up to date and refer to those. It's always kind of best if you leave your notifications on, so that way you can see that kind of stuff. And then you know, as we whitelist, we'll be adding a V menu in for specific RP like boats and trucks and trailers and things like that. But one of the main things is we got to start seeing more RP, and we got to avoid the fail RP. You know, flying out of a vehicle at 200 miles an hour and then just getting back up and running into your car and keep driving isn't. You wouldn't do that in real life. So, I'm not saying you'd be dead, but you'd be hurt pretty bad. So just try to keep everything realistic as much as possible, and you know, everything that I look at, I always try to think, you know, if this happened to me or I did this in real life, what would happen? So, just things to keep in mind with that. Yeah, and we want to build, you know, good RP, so that way people can stream more and record more and share it on YouTube or Twitch, and that way they can be like, hey, you know, they got some really cool RP scenes. I want to join that. I want to do those type of things. If you need anything that you don't have access to for your RP, just let me know. You know, if you need a semi-truck and a trailer, or you need a lawnmower, or whatever you're trying to set up, just let me know. We're always happy to spawn those things in and help you create the RP that you're trying to bring in. So, alright. Yeah, keep in mind, after tonight, warrants will remain active until that person is arrested. Bulos will also do the same thing. And then people can be bonded out for misdemeanors. Anything that's a felony, they cannot be. Yeah, and then we'll start, you know, we'll maybe make a U.S. Marshals Department and things like that. Alrighty. Well, again, I appreciate you guys being here tonight. If you do have any questions that we didn't cover or that you can't find yourself, there are also other videos on YouTube surrounding the CAD that you can look at. But if you absolutely need help, just let us know. And again, I appreciate you guys being here. So y'all have a good night. And all right.
Do you want to get with you afterwards? What we talked about.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll spin the wheel here in a few minutes and let you guys know who won the giveaways. So I appreciate your time again, and you guys are all free to go. Have a good night.